for our first sector, we'll go through financials. Um, Start with BlackRock. Now, I was expecting it to come in a little bit. I was not expecting it to go all the way down to the 780 or the 870, which is basically in line with our 786 from, let's go back a little bit further, from way back here, right? So let's go back a little bit further. It's kind of difficult to see. So starting basically October, around 500 and something, to the January 700 something, and it was just the extension. Now, if you see, we hit the 786 of this, right? And you'll see over here, all right, the yellow line. So is it still bullish? Yes. Is it what I wanted to see? No, not really. I wanted it to kind of stick around the 890 or to the 905, but we're still bullish on the longer term, not quite at the short term like I wanted to stay bullish on the short term, but on the longer term, we are still quite bullish. Now, for this upcoming week, we did create a doji, so the traders are pretty unsure. Basically a tug of war, and it's right in the middle. So the bears could take over from here, or the bulls could take over from here and come back up as the same thing you saw right here. The bears and the bulls did not know which way to go, and we went down. So right here, this could be a tipping point. Since it's a daily chart, Monday will be kind of a telltale sign. I wouldn't bet the house on it, but a telltale sign. If we can open up and above this, right, this area right here. So if we open up above here, it's a higher probability that and close, right? Can't just open up and then crash down. Open and close above the upper portion, the higher probability is that it's going to go higher. If it opens and closes below, the probability that it's going to continue its trend down. Now, some downward target would be around the 858, right? Our teal line that we drew. And upward target is hopefully we can get above this shorter term trend 50% mark, which would be the 880, and go from there. Goldman Sachs, again, kind of looking like BlackRock. A couple weeks ago, we were at all-time highs, and this upcoming week we got, what is this, Tuesday. We tried to take out some highs, but then we got rejected and pretty much have gone down since. Now, we've cleared everyone out since the August 20th, 1920th low. So we'll see where do we go from here. We closed a little bit below the 618 of the longer term trend. Let's see which trend we're talking about from here. Well, it's not, the retracement from the July 19th low of 350 to basically the high of August 12th. So we are still right in line. I wouldn't say we're above, because we're right at the 618 of that particular move. Now, to stay bullish on that particular move, we have all the way down to 382, just to keep that in mind. However, I was cautious about this last week about what the general markets were going to do, and I figured they were going to crash. Now, we've gotten a decent amount of selling out. Now, I think we've had what? Well, no, we've had one green day, so I can't say it's all been red, but it's been overall red in the markets for the last week to 2 weeks. So with all that selling being done, I think then I'm looking to think the selling might have one last week at most, kind of get us through the September. Well, we just closed the September options, or the September expiration last week, so that could be a clear, basically clear the road for the market to continue its upward trend. FAS, looked, it was promising a couple days throughout the week, but as again, what I was saying with the general market, it was just a down general market. Um, but if this one's holding relatively well, much better than the last two, Goldman Sachs and BlackRock. As you can see, we're still above the August 19th high. We are bouncing right around the 50% mark of our, what are we talking about? August 13th, well, August 3rd to the 13th move. We, as long as we stay above that 1574, then we're still basically bullish from that general trend with an upward target. Obviously, we're far away from it right now, which would be $134. But we need to stay above this 115.74. We breached it a couple of times, which is a little bit concerning, but we did not drop all the way down to the 112, or much better, the 112.32, which would be our low from August. So our target, or basically our goal for FAS, is stay above that 1574. But if we can't hold that line, then look for us to kind of crash relatively fast down to the 1216 area, if not down to our overall trend, or a larger trend down to the 110, even down to the 109 relatively fast. TROW price, I mean, yeah, we're still in the upward trend. I mean, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were making all-time highs, August 30th. So just about 3 weeks ago, we were making all-time highs. In TROW price, we kind of stalled a little bit this upcoming week, but it kind of makes sense. The overall general market needed to pause out, give TROW price some time to kind of take a break, because we were close to target. We didn't get there all the way, about $1 away, but we were pretty close. And if you look, all we did was just come back to this 100% move of the June to July move, and we're staying above there. So and that's where, well, we had the shorter term trend. That's where we're kind of hitting. But as long as we stay above that 100% mark, or within line of that 100%, my next target, we're trying to stay above this teal line right there. If we can stay in between here, the red line, the 212, and maybe the 216, give or take there. We don't drop below the 212.50, and we can kind of generally get above the 216, then I would look for us to be nice and poised to take out this 224. Now, I would have to say Blackstone is just extremely powerful, but it did hit. It's at targets, so just remember that it's at target. Hit it. We basically 1 penny off. Look at the massive amount of selling, or well, volume rather. We're on average maybe 2 million shares. It traded 17 million shares. So just be paying attention to that, right? It's very interesting to kind of see what is going on. The last time we had some shares, this was 37 million back in at the 99 level. So whoever made those shares right there, if they sold out right there, they made about 50% of their money. About 36%. Not a bad not a bad day. See if we have any other. Nope, that's it. So we have on June 25th, and September is some outstanding, ridiculous amounts of volume. With that being said, I still see I mean, it's difficult for me to say this is all over and time to call the cows in, right? But just be very careful with that volume spike. I do see us coming down to probably the 30.78. If we can hold that, I would say maybe this was loading more on. I'm not sure. It kind of seems like that's a lot. I mean, it is a lot compared to everyday volume. So we'll just pay attention and see what happens this upcoming week. It'd be very interesting to see what happens. Northern Trust kind of fell out of bed. These last 3 weeks, we were looking to try to take out our highs 3 weeks ago of the 123, and basically 3 weeks we have retested our July 19 lows. Now, again, general market, if the market keeps on kind of going down for the next maybe week and a half, like I was saying, then look for Northern Trust to continue going down. Telltale sign in the market. Banks have, I mean, they've gotten hit hard. They're not really hit hard, because if we were to look at a year ago, we're at $76, right? Now we're at 108, so we're still up from a year ago. However, the trend could be shifting, because if you look back, we are below the 618 low. So in order for me to kind of be bullish or anything, we need to get above this 100 mark, which is 110.91. It's about $3 away, $2.80 away. But we have done a lot of movement. I wouldn't, like, if the market really starts falling apart, the 105 all the way down to the 102, truly all the way down to basically the 199, and we'd still be bullish from the overall trend from what we drew more at the beginning of the year. Now, it sounds crazy. However, it's very probable we hit target all the way. Now we're coming back down. Now I don't see it happening, but just keeping that out there, that we could flush all the way back down to 99. Talk to Chuck. Talking to Chuck is relatively well on our longer term trend, which would be the extension going back way to October of last year. We were holding above on the 786, which would bring us right around the 60.79. Excuse me, 60.53. So if we can stay above the 69.53, I would still say we're more or less bullish. I would like to see us get above the shorter term trend, which is 70.78, but we'll see kind of what goes on next year, or next week, or tomorrow rather. And if the markets continue their trend down, I would say look for a shorter term hold, maybe at the 68.30, and a larger pop at the 67.16. But if the market finds some buyers, then look for us to try to retake the 70.78. KKR looking great. Looking really nice. Looking poised to take out the 67.81 with target up to 69 to 70.89. These two numbers right here. Now, just keeping it in fair motion, if the market completely tanks next week, then I see us kind of testing down to the 65, maybe to 64.40, and then refining its path to take out the August 9th high. CME group, 181 would be new target. Does not look like we're trying to do anything. Now, of course, we might bounce to this 195 before we roll over. I would like for us to take the 195 or 194 up to 197. It just doesn't look like CME has found a bottom. Now, if we jiggle around here for a little bit more and don't do any fast, rapid moves, then the shift could change. But as of right now, I would stay away unless you're trying to short. Bank of America actually looking pretty decent. We had a nasty day. What was this, Tuesday? But Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we've kind of recovered. Not like drastic recover, but we are above our basically line in the sand, and we are above the 820 low. All right, financials.